Hi everyone. Today we are going to see Cucumber with PlayWright and TypeScript framework. We have all seen in Cucumber with Selenium. What is the advantage of using Cucumber? Collaborating between the teams in the DevOps uh, style of projects. So that is the salient aspect of Cucumber framework. In the acceptance test driven development, it is very helpful so that every one of the teams understand the project's goal from the perspective of the client. So, a feature, Cucumber usually comes with Jerkin language syntax. For example, the feature will be something to do with the functionality. Sorry. With withdrawing cash is a functionality that is given as an example over here. The rule being that customers cannot withdraw more than their balance. So, how this can be converted into code? That is the main aspect. When we club this with Selenium scripts, each one of the patterns within each scenario can be converted into the functionalities within which we can plug in Selenium or Playwright scripts. So the scenarios, two scenarios are available over here. Successful withdrawal within balance or declined withdrawal in excess of balance. In any one of the features, functionalities, be it registration or login, authentication, etc., there are only two possibilities. The process will proceed successfully, which is the base path, or the process will be a failure. So, in whichever case we are taking an example in Playwright for TypeScript, let me explain you the details how to set up the project in Playwright and TypeScript for Cucumber. So basically, there are places where if you have the Cucumber plugin, you will be able to write the features. Right now, we are taking the user authentication tests, which is the website under discussion. Let me walk you through that. The website will be, let me use up this browser instance, a book cart website. I'm already logged in, so it is showing the uh, session. So I have registered using this credentials. You can see, okay, so if I saw login successfully, sorry, you will see that my username is displayed and there is an icon that is available. Okay, so let me log out. So successful logging in and another logging attempt, which is an incorrect login. If a user attempts to log in with incorrect credentials, user should not be able to log in successfully. So the criteria that I use for the automation purpose will be the existence of the button, the user authenticated button, uh, which will not be available in the case of unsuccessful login. So that is the criteria. So as we start the Playwright tests, we have to install Playwright in a folder, install Cucumber plugin. So step-by-step instructions I have kept in this. So basically, if you look at this document, create a folder anywhere that you want to have your project and open it with VS Code. Navigate to the folder in the terminal. That is, terminal is over here So if you open the terminal, by default, whichever folder you are in will be the one that will be shown out here. Right? Okay, so what are the things that we have to take care? Now, very important things, we have to install PlayWright. PlayWright, when it is installed, here it will come with certain sample code, .spec.js, sample spec.example.js will be created. And you can specify the tests folder and other things. For now, we don't require those tests. So we can eliminate those things. When I install PlayWright test for VS Code, and when you are done with it, delete the PlayWright configure.ts file and the sample test that will be generated for the normal PlayWright project. The second thing that we want to do is install Cucumber plugin. So when you install the Cucumber plugin only, these commands, the features will be able to be understood. And we have to go to the, so when we install the Cucumber plugin, if it is already installed, it will show it is installed. It is already installed, so therefore uninstall will be shown. You can install it fresh. Alright, so and then you have to initialize the Cucumber project, and then I will have to create the folders. The project structure, let me explain to you in the case of PlayWright for Cucumber. Features, as in other Cucumber projects, if you have worked on it, it will be great, but I can explain you right from scratch here. Features are nothing but English language like instructions, like what we have written over here, login.feature. The feature or the functionality is, these are all keywords. Feature, whatever is highlighted in purple, these are all keywords. And the compiler will be able to parse this to document, and for each line of this document, it will look for the code with the same pattern given user is on the login page. If you have seen this, given user is on the login page, the compiler will look for this kind of lambda expression within the step definition file, and it will execute the code that is within that particular code segment. Okay, so this is going to be executed as a TypeScript code, automated code. So for each line in this, login should be success. If you look at this steps, these steps are going to be reusable. Only one code segment is needed for similar kind of patterns. So that is the advantage. You don't have to have n number of steps as there are the same pattern. So that is one of the important features of Cucumber. So when the user clicks on the login button, in either case, the code will be executed, which is there in the step definition. When the user clicks the login button, this is the code segment that is going to be executed. So, and the last then statement is a validation statement. You can have assertions to check if whatever steps we have executed, are they exhibiting whatever is desired, or what is expected is what is the behavior of the application. So the comparison between the expected versus the actual behavior, that is done in this particular segment. Even the end user who is not technically sound, they will be able to comprehend what is happening during the acceptance testing phase. So the second scenario, login should not be a success if the wrong username and password are entered. So this, if it is passing, then it is okay for us, right? So the result of execution let me show you other configuration details I will give you. Right now we have discussed only the feature files. .feature, that should be the name of the feature files. So it is executing and it's finding the icon of the account holder and it is evaluating it to success. The second time over, second scenario is getting executed with wrong username and password and login is failing as it is expected by the feature, right? So this is the running. Not only this, the Allure report that is generated, I have configured Allure reports to be configured with this particular run. So it is going to be okay. Allure generate. I think I already have the command over here to generate the code. Usually it is npx playwright show report. The HTML report that will be created will be shown. So it's not there over here because it is, I have configured it for Cucumber to be showing the Allure report. Okay. So what is the way to generate the Allure report? Let's ask. Playwright Allure report generation for TypeScript and Cucumber. So you don't have to bother because we have extensive help nowadays. And the latest of the commands we can use in order to generate the report. Allure serve. Okay, so we can do this. Allure generate Allure results hyphen clean. Okay. Report successfully generated to Allure report. So again, if you want to open the report, Allure open. How to configure the Allure report also, let me show you. The result of the test run right now, both the scenarios have passed. And you can see what are the different categories, behaviors. So user authentication tests, as it is expected, login should be success and login should not be a success. Both are passing. Right now, there is not a issue. Let's also simulate a failure over here. Okay, Balamurthy 1. Okay, I'm saving this feature file. So if I'm just running this, one of the scenarios is going to fail. In which case, the screenshot should be generated in the Allure report, and that is what we are going to look for. So, login button, it is not going into the portal. So, therefore, it is evaluating to false, and that is what you see. One of the scenarios is failing. So, let's see the report. Allure open. So in the DevOps scenario, Aliu reports are good for us too. So only 50% is passing right now. So what is the other 50% which is broken? Let's see that. Test defects over here. Login should be success is failing because in the teardown part, I can see the attachment of this particular user not being able to log in successfully. Of course, I wantedly made it fail. Okay, so this is the reason why it is failing. Because of so many other reasons also it could fail, and that could be given to maybe the data base is down or any other network related outages could be the reason as well, because of which the failure could be observed. But screenshots are always helpful for the developers to fix it. Correct? So let's see how this can be configured now. Now we are at our is to write the jerkin language using given, when, then syntax. Same thing whatever I have given you, right? So given means given to understand. User is on the login page. Scenario is expectation is that login should be success. Two scenarios. A number of scenarios can be clubbed into a same file as long as the functionality is the same. Okay. So given user name is a certain username which is registered, given so that given and is not there as part of BDD for PlayWright. It is there in Selenium. Over here, we have to specify the second given as whatever is the next clause. And there is no order in which you have to use. You can club it with when user clicks on the when user enter the password also is fine. But make sure whenever the snippets are generated, you don't have to write the snippet code. It will generate it automatically. When user clicks on the login button, then login should be success. Okay. So this is the structure of the feature file. Once we have written this, you can simply run. Whenever you run the feature file, supposing I'm going to login button, uh, when login button, I'm adding something which is not there in the step definition to demonstrate how a code snippet will be generated for us whenever we have a new pattern. When login button is clicked. Okay, so let me run this now. I'll save it. When I run it using npm test, it will parse this particular feature file first. Over here, you can see that this is highlighting. Okay, so let's see what are all the problems. It shows there is a problem. So undefined step, I created a new step, isn't it? So Cucumber undefined steps. If I want to create a new step, I can fix it. Okay, don't worry about this one right now. It will show me what is the way to add. So the you can uh, have a code stub that can be implemented is what it will show when login button is clicked. Okay. So if I run this with this, the login.feature is showing one mark. define in BDD in steps. We can see this. Define in the steps. Where are the steps? Under the steps folder. So over here, anywhere I can write. Enter the password because for sequence purpose, I will have it. So when I have this pattern, I don't have to write it. Usually it will be generated. Okay. So when login button, in the same pattern, I need not write it. But right now to compile it quickly, I'm going to generate this stub. You need not actually do that. You can have your own steps, or I can generate the new feature file, which is not necessary when login button is clicked. So when similar step is actually available, then it will not show an error. Right? Code to convert the above into concrete actions. Clicking on simply, I'm going to close this. So as I have written this one, then it will compile properly. If you now see the feature file, this is not going to be highlighted as an incorrect one because a similar code stub has been implemented. Usually the implementable stub will be generated and given to us. Right now it is not, but don't worry about it. When you write a new feature file, it will be generated and given to you. Okay, you can write a fresh feature file, at which time it will be generating. Okay, right now we don't need this. So I'm taking it off. So that is the step definition. The step definition file is essentially the code that will be executed upon the pattern of the stub or the lambda expression that is matched. And right now I'm using page object model like in earlier cases. The login per page and the home page. These two are page object model pages with the objects which are there like username, password, login button, the account holders, icon. Those things are expressed over here in the page classes. Like in the login page, username field, password field, one-time definition. And I have got the constructor in which I have to pass the page class, page handle. Otherwise, it will not be able to understand which is the page that is under context. And the set username, set password, click login button, these are all methods available. And I will be using this page class within the step definition file. And the step definition, I have only one step definition in which I am creating the user is in the login page, the login page instance is created, and I open the login page, and where LP is opening the instance, browser instance, user is on the login page. All of the steps are executed, and visually you are able to see the user enters the username. So first scenario enters the correct username, which is there in the parameter, and it is able to set the username, whatever is got in the parameter, and that is how the code will be executed. And the last will be the then fragment. Then login, how it is decided? Home page. As the user goes into the new page's instance will be created using the new keyword. And I'm checking to see if profile icon is present. So that will be the mark of the login success. All of this code is available in a GitHub And I will share with you in the description box about the code that is available. We can go and check it out. Okay, so what are the other things we need to understand out here? So this is how the execution happens. As it parses the feature files, the code stubs will be executed in the steps. And once the then clause is executed, then particularly the validation happens to see whether it is a pass or a failure. This is similar to the assert statement. Assert. Expect is the equivalent of the assert statement in other programming languages as well, right? And you have something called as the hooks. Hooks are nothing but some code fragments that will be executed once before the scenario and once after the scenarios. Wherever you place these hooks, it will be parsed and first executed by the compiler. Only then even the scenarios will be executed. Once before the scenario, once after the scenario. Okay, so world.ts is particularly specific to TypeScript, where the page instance, browser context, page, all those important aspects are saved and instantiated. You can launch a browser from this particular code stub. And there are configuration files which are specific for the Cucumber framework out here, because compiler has to know from feature file where to look for the step definition. So all of those steps where it is available, the exact path to the steps. Okay, if you say that, so EB laptop PlayWright BDD, so that is the absolute path, but from the path which is there in the project, SRC test steps, that is where the steps are present, and support is for the hooks and the context files. And we have to register the TS node, without which this is going to be not possible. So this required module, this need to be specified. All of this configuration files, when it is placed and when you specify the folders correctly, it is going to work perfectly. Okay, so let me show you the structure of this. What is what? These are the feature. This is a feature file consisting of two scenarios. This is the step definition containing the code for each one of the steps. Pages are there for creating instances of the pages, and you know very well from the page object model. You can refer to my video on page object model. Support is the folder where I have defined the hooks before and after hooks, etc. So for browser, the context setting and other things will happen in the world.ts. World.ts will contain class extending cucumbers. Whatever word is, page, context, browser, all of this, that is going to register this and make it available to the automation. Cucumber.js, although it is a TypeScript, you may be asking me, Cucumber.ts only should be there. Why you have kept it as Cucumber.js? But that is how it is available to us right now. Cucumber TypeScript files are actually transpiled into JavaScript. So basically, to convert it into a native format, this has to be kept as Cucumber.js. What does it do? It tells Cucumber where your feature files are, where the step definition files and hooks are, which reporter to use, Allure in this case, whether you're using TypeScript, execution options like parallel, and what are the tags for selection of the test cases, etc. So that is what the Cucumber.js does. Package.json, it's an important file as well, consisting of the project information, dependencies or the libraries required to run the project. In this case, we need TypeScript, we need Cucumber. And the development dependencies, right now it is out of scope for us because we are doing the testing part. Scripts which is going to be invoked like npm test, npm start, and other. What is the entry point? So package.json will have the starting file, okay, of execution. Package.json, you have all these things, allure open. So this is the script that is going to be, the test is going to be cucumber.js configure cucumber.js. So here, this is what is going to be invoked in order to run the test. And allure generate is going to be happening. And if I want to open the allure report, this is how I open allure open. And it will be shown to us in the form of a graphical report. So this is something to do with the Cucumber PlayWright BDD framework. So let's go back to see whether we are missing on anything. Okay, so having explained you the project structure, you can go ahead. I will, I have the instructions to install in the README, and it is available in GitHub. You can set it up and run and understand the structure as well as the configuration files. Hope you understood the concept. Please let me know if there are any questions and give your feedback about this. Thank you very much.